Oh, there's Bernie back again. So, back at the squarebody project, and it's getting closer all the time to getting the vehicle running. So, we got some more stuff here that we're at today. You see in this box we got some fuel lines, so it's going to be a 8 AN feed. We got a 6 AN return, and we got a it's a fuel pump, and I guess is the filter and the kit. So it's actually not sure if it's a real one or it's not that one. It was a walbro 450, and we're going to put that in the truck. So as you look back here again, if you remember the videos, we actually had a panel cut in here. Now it's gone a little bit hard to see, but anyway. So what we have here is what's going to be where the pump is going to attach, and I've already unbolted it, but you want to take that up there, and we're going to see if we can fasten the piece onto for the fuel pump for the hoses and the pipes. So it's time to put the fuel pump in the square body truck. So we picked up a walbro 450. I had a hose just to fit on earlier. This is all of it, obviously. So we have this right here, and we're going to try to make a bracket to mount it in the fuel tank. So if you come over this way and take a look, obviously if you looked at one of the earlier videos, this is the piece of the tank that we had fitted with 2 AN fittings into it. So we had them removed right now, and we just welded a piece of pipe onto the piece that we had the AN fittings in. So what we're planning on doing is getting a depth now measurement for the depth of the tank, and we're going to make some brackets, and we're going to mount the pump onto it. So we're going to lay this over the top, and we're going to see how far off the actual bottom it is, and we mark it. So let's go over this way a little bit. As you can see, this is the access hole that's in the box. So I just welded that on. It's still a little hot. So you can see there now, if we stood it up, it's touching the bottom of the tank. So we're going to take a measurement right here, and we're going to get it so it's pretty close to the bottom of the tank. We're not going to make it touching the bottom of the tank. We may weld a washer onto it for a little, so it's not just a piece of pipe stuck into the bottom of it. But we'll take the measurement here right now, and we'll cut that off, and that'll allow this to go down flush. So there you have it. I got the piece on for the fuel pump, you can see. But while I was doing it, I said, what if one fuel pump's not enough? So anyway, we make the mounts for 2 fuel pumps. We only have one to put into it, but down the road if we need to, we already got the brackets made here. So all we'll do is put a some type of Y connector in the line, and yeah, connect 2 of them up. So anyway, we're gonna see if we can get our lines put back in here now. Put the fuel pump in the holder, and we'll see how that works. So back at it. Last one off, you see we had the 2 mounts for the fuel pumps, and what we end up doing for our AN fitting, I noticed I wasn't sure, that's that copper nickel fuel line, and I wasn't too sure how well it would weld to it, so we end up raising it on to the bottom of it. But the pipe actually fits up in there like quite a ways, so it's not like it's I don't know if you can see down through it too well, but it's there's no debris or nothing in there. So anyway, we end up cutting a bit of rubber right here in this area, and this will slide down here like so. So we'll tighten it down. So a bit of a gasket there, and we'll put the nut onto it here, and we'll do the same thing over here. we have a return line fitting. It's there somewhere anyway, right here. So we have another return line bulkhead fitting, -6. So without cutting a gasket and putting this in here. So we'll do that now, and we'll take a look when it's done. And this is how it looks. You have the 2 fittings down underneath, and on top, 2 of them stuck up, gaskets on both. Now, what we got left now is we'll get the pump, and we'll put the pump here and screw it on and put it on and clamp it on. And there's that, and then we move on to the wiring part of it. So we'll bolt the pump up next and check it out. So we have the pump and the fixture mounted in the vise, and we are working on the wiring part. So we're trying to get the wiring up through the top of this area here. It's going to come through this hole. So what I've planned on doing, I didn't want to just put a rubber grommet that I could, run up the chafe. So up into the house, I actually found this and this. And so it's it comes with the toilet seats when you buy them, believe it or not, but it's plastic. So what I think I'm going to do is trim this piece off right here, and we'll put it in down through there, bolt it on top and bottom, and then drill a small hole down through it. So that should give us lots of protection, against vibration or chafing or any of that matter. So when it goes down through, obviously it's going to be stuck down here further. So I got this bushing off of a trailer axle. So we're going to possibly put this down here to take up some of the space. And well, we'll install it and see if it's going to work. Okay guys, so here we have it. I'm holding a gasket in my hand right now, so obviously goes in there under the, when it goes down into the tank. But this is the fitting. I end up using the piece off the toilet after, and I got a hole drilled through the middle, a little bit of silicone just put here for a sealer. And while the trailer piece that I had cut off didn't work, I wanted something plastic. So anyway, there's no roller piece for painting. So anyway, that's how we don't put it in there for a spacer. Wound it down tight, ran the wire up through it, and we have the power wire coming, and we have a ground wire through there. So I was going to rivet it on, but I figured I'd put a bolt here going again, that the hole in here is a little bit bigger. So if I had to run a second wire down there, I could for another pump, and actually I could put the ground on here where I have a stud on it now, instead of drilling another one and grounding it out on that. So that's how it sits. So obviously it'll pump out of here, and it'll go through the intake back to rails, and it'll come back return through here. So all that's left there now is we'll install it in the tank, and we'll start running some lines. Anyway, we got it all together. Let's see if we can get her down in the tank. Let's have a little look at that there gasket. Hopefully that fits. Alright, so the gasket is in there. Only lock the pump will go in there too. And there you have it. So we get the bolts, bolt her on. Obviously this will be the wire, and we got to connect up some fuel lines. So Anyway, this was left there now. So yeah, we're coming along with it. So I guess next will be time to start making some fuel lines and run the fuel lines. Okay, so we're back at the square body. Tank unit and pump is in the truck. Next thing you know is to move on to the fuel lines. So I have them straightening out over here, and what we have here is some dash 8 and some dash 6. So obviously the 8 is on the supply and dash 6 is the return. So what we end up on is some of these Russell adapter fittings. So this one here, the part number where it is. The light's terrible. But anyway, this one here is supposed to go onto the supply line, and this one here is supposed to go onto the return line. So obviously this is the fuel rail to 8A in, and this is the fuel rail to a 6A in. So I'm going to install 2 of these now, and we'll make the pipe up. We'll make the fuel lines up from there. So we'll start by plugging these in. Okay, we just popped them on. So let's have a quick little look at it. So as you can see, one was just pushed on, and this screwed onto it, which is kind of great because you're not relying on any connector on the high pressure line side. And this here is just a push on one. But anyway, both of them fit nice. So it's only to start putting the braided line together and run it to the tank. So we put 2 of them on, clipped onto the rail, no problems at all. And anyway, we got the lines put on the rails, and we got them put on the tank unit. So I'll pick up the light there now and see if we have a little look. So anyway, what we ended up doing is to come out of there with a couple of 90s off the rail, and we got them going over this way. The thing is now I gotta just strap them up and get them to where I wants to get them there. Strap them onto the frame. Anyway, take this back over this way. Probably don't need it anyway. Probably not gonna use it. So if you see the tank unit here, 2 of them are on. I have to connect the wire up for the power, but yeah, we had to. So all this have to do now is we had to strap it out to the body and the frame, keep it away. So originally planned to come over the back of the engine and down the passenger side, but considering there was transmission lines and exhaust and everything else that was in the way there, harness, and so anyway we went to down the driver's side after, and ran it down the frame rail, runs across the back of the cab, and it ends up here in the fuel tank. So anyway, so that's it. Other than strap them up, the fuel lines are done. So another bit closer to getting the truck running.